everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. I have a Lawn Boy self-propelled push mower that has a Kohler engine on it. I got as part of a lot of a riding mower with a bad transmission and this. Got them both for $100. They were maybe 15 minutes down the road at the most. And we're going to see if we can get this Lawn Boy back running, because if I can get it back running, not put any parts in it, then I basically have given myself a free riding mower out of it. So let's go ahead and get started on it. This, like I said, it's got the Kohler engine. It just won't start at this point. Don't know if it's, don't know exactly what the issue is with it. I was told that it will kick over on starting fluid, so we'll see if that's that theory is true as well. If you have any questions about this video, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. Let's go ahead and get started on this thing. So let me give you a walk around of it. Like I said, it's a Lawn Boy. It has a 6.5 foot-pound torque Kohler 149cc engine with smart choke, is what it says. Rear drive self-propelled. These are decent units, really good units from what I can understand. I've had a few in. They've been really nice mowers. Your oil situation needs to be changed, but it's still full. And let's look at the blade underneath. So the blade is okay, I think. I think that blade's all right. So we'll give it a look around. Like I said, it doesn't run currently. The guy has put a fuel shutoff switch on it, which is super. That helps. That's always a plus, as long as the shutoff switch works and doesn't leak. You can turn the gas off in the winter and be done. This has got that recalled style air filter. And the air filter's actually got a bunch of oil and stuff in it, which makes me think that it may have been turned on its side incorrectly or something at some point, or overfilled with oil, one of the two. Currently I see that the choke is open, or was open, trying to run it, I suppose. That would definitely cause it not to start. So let me see if it'll kick over now that I've got that choke closed. No. It's trying to open itself back up too. Let's try some starting fluid. To be expected. It does have gas in it. It just like I said, to be expected. Jets and stuff are probably clogged up in it. And see what we end up needing to do with it. I think we're going to have to do some carb cleaning on it. So let me get my electronics card out, set it on that. We'll do the whole process of getting this carb off and putting it back on. Alrighty, let's do this. Pretty much need 10 millimeters. We'll shut off the fuel here since we've got a shut off switch. At least I think we will. Uh-oh, is the switch stuck? Oh, there we go. Okay, we got it off. We'll take 10 millimeters. You have 3 of them, one right here. You have 2 more on the sides there. Or for the carb. This should just slide off now. You do have a couple of them spacers that go on the back side of it. Should be a second one that just fell off somewhere. We'll find it. We'll just pull that off. that exposes the carburetor. This is not the easiest carb to get off, but just pull it like you got full throttle, and then your linkage will come off for your throttle. Pull your spring off right here. There we go. Okay, so that's our choke thermostat. Doesn't really seem to be working very well, if at all. Get some pliers. Get this off fuel line. This is that small fuel line too that you see a lot of times on the Hondas. It might need to replace it because it's getting pretty thin. Gas smells okay. So now we just got to kind of work this carburetor off. Not the easiest to do with this choke set up on it. Actually, I think we have to pop this end piece off if I remember correctly. The mower's cold, so it should be just hanging out right there, but it's not. So see if I can get this off here. There we go. So you just pop it off just like so. Comes off that choke arm, and you're pretty much good to go after that. Wonder if we can make that work. So we'll pop this off. Okay, so we've got the carb off. Let me take it over to the bench and we'll see what we have underneath it. See what we need to do after that. Alright, so there's a couple things that we have to do here. First is get this bowl off. And there goes some old gas and rust and all that nature in there. So definitely, almost definitely have a clogged jet in the carb. Could use a screwdriver to get it out. I think I need one bigger than this though. Yeah. If I can even get it out. But the other thing while I'm here before I get the other tools is we're going to get this, there's a top jet in this. And it's right in here. What you got to do is you got to take off this little screw here that sets the throttle. Something was catching it right there, and the jet, the top jet, is right under here. You just pry it up with a screwdriver. Get it out of there. What this does is it sucks through fuel through that little bitty hole right there. A lot of times this likes to get stuck or clogged up. And like I said, we got rust in the bottom of the bowl here, probably from a little bit of water that was in the fuel. We'll give it a good clean out and see if that's enough. I think we just need to spray in this because it's not that terrible. I don't think I need to go ultrasonic on it. But basically just going to spray, get the jet out, and I'll get to y'all. Let me get my tools and we'll get the jet out and spray that out, as well as spray out this top jet. Alright, back at it here. So, carb spray. Just start with a new can. See if we can get most of this stuff out of here with that. Yeah, for the most part. A lot of times what I do, I can't get down to the bottom of this one very well, but I'll take a wire brush and just brush a bunch of stuff out of this. And I may still do that. We'll clean off this bowl here, or bowl nut as well. Try and get it so that there's no rust particulates floating around in this thing. Whenever you got rust in the carb bowl, it's never going to be perfect, but we'll do our best to get as much of it out as possible. And then what I've done is I grabbed a screwdriver and was able to flathead screwdriver, get this jet to hopefully screw out of here for us. Come on now. Let's hit it here. Sometimes these things can be a little stubborn, especially since this one's got a little bit of rust that was up in it. There you go. Well, that was a choke arm. We'll put that back on in a second. It's coming. There we go. So there's the jet, and there's the armature. And if you can look, you can't see any light coming through that jet. So that would explain why it wasn't running at all. I use a combination of carb spray and wire brush to do this, because sometimes so that got it open, and I've been fooled sometimes with carb spray, and I see the opening of the jet come out, and I'm like, all right, we got it. But then I put it back together, and it runs very mediocre. It's because varnish will get in and around the hole, and the carb spray will only clean but so much of it. So a lot of times what I do is I take this wire and just kind of work it around in these jets. A lot of times I do see that hole get bigger. It'll run, but it'll run like it ain't got a lot of power, surging up and down a lot of times. And they run these things so lean as it is anyways to help with the EPA that so that looks pretty good actually. So they run them so lean as it is. That any little blockage is going to cause an issue. So, cleaning out the emulsion tube here. I'll spray a shot up through the carb here as well before I put everything back in. Get that cleaned up. Spray some through the chokes and the other jets. Everything seems to be going pretty well right there, so that's good. Last but not least, we're going to spray it through this low speed, or top jet, excuse me, top jet. Okay, so I see stuff coming out through there, so that's good as well. We'll poke a wire through it just in case. Need a skinnier wire than that, actually. See if this skinny wire will do it. Fall allergies, guys. Sorry. And do one more shot of it to make sure that it's coming through the jet here. Yeah, I can see it coming through, so that's good. All right, we're, I mean, it's not terribly dirty otherwise. I don't think I need to take the needle and the float off. The needle and the float, excuse me. So we got that. So now let's put everything back together here. The emulsion tube will go up like this, because it'll stick out the top of the carb. And then the jet is going to hold it in place. Just making sure all that is straight. I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can see the hole through it now. So that's good. We'll stick it back in there. Let this grab. Don't cross thread it. I'm sure somebody out there has cross threaded a jet before, and that has got to suck. Because then you're basically at the mercy of getting a new carb. The carb looking this nice, honestly shouldn't need one. That could be better. I might work on this just a tiny bit here. See if this wire brush will get down there. Yeah, that got some of it. That's a decent amount better. Like I said, once rust intrudes into these things, there ain't no getting it out, really. You get an ultrasonic, but I mean, you've already penetrated the metal bowl gasket, and so that doesn't really work very well after that. So we'll put the bowl back on, bowl nut back on, get it started. Okay. We'll use the socket and the ratchet to get that back on. There we go. Top jet is next. Guess I could spray just a tiny bit through the top here. Okay. So, and we know we had a plugged jet anyways. That was our main issue. Top jet, if you have starting issues but it runs okay after that, that's usually where you'll have that problem. Let's see. Alright, so we've got that. Gas is going to be coming in. It's interesting. We've got like a metal piece or something in this. I've never seen that before. It's like a piece of metal in there. Interesting. I wonder if that's going to impact anything. I can feel it. I can feel that gas going in there. I wonder if it's just like a diffuser or something. Keep some debris. Never seen it before though. It's weird. So also, two things you don't want to forget are putting this plastic throttle screw back on. Got to be careful though, because you don't want to cross thread it, and that is very easy to do if you're not careful when it comes to this. Ugh, come on now. A lot easier to do this if you take off this bracket for the auto choke, but we're not going to do that because come on now. Gotta be careful. Need to push this top jet in a little bit more anyways. Okay. I think we've got it in there now. Because you don't want to strip the threads on this thing. See if I can do it with it tilted up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got it now. So that's basically the complete rebuild here. Looking inside it from start to finish, this just hangs out right here, and we'll put it back on just like so. And hopefully we'll have a runner here in just a second. I think I'm going to replace the fuel line as well while I've got it off. I need to put y'all on the charger because I've filmed a lot so far today. So I'll put the fuel line on off camera. Y'all saw how I took the carburetor off. I'll show you how to put it back on. And we'll fire it up. Alright guys, y'all haven't missed much. I just put a new fuel line on. I put the bigger fuel line on. The only problem is it has these two clips that it goes through to help keep it off of the throttle arm. And that's fit for the small line, or a smaller line, even though it has the bigger fittings on the gas tank and the carb. So what I did is I had to take those clips off, and I just zip tied it so that I have freedom of movement for everything that needs to have freedom of movement here. Now we will put this air filter cover back on, or the housing. There's the gasket there. Also, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if it's right or not, but since this was a cold engine, what I did is I made it, I think somebody had this apart and didn't know what they were doing. Or maybe I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know. But since this is a cold engine, the spring for the thermostat should open up when it gets warm, and it was in the open position, didn't really have any sort of tension on it. So we're gonna, in this case, either find out if what I did is correct or if we have a bad thermostat vane on the exhaust. So we'll see how she runs once we get going here. It might have a bad thermostat vane, I'm not sure. But we'll put all this back on. I think, so on this, you have a spacer on this bolt. What it does is it actually goes in between the air filter and the block. I don't know if we can just put it right there and hope that we get it in the right spot or what, but there we go. So that actually worked, putting it in like that. Slide it in, get my 10 mil. $10mm. We'll gently put this bolt in. A couple of nuts. Nut number 1, nut number 2. All right. I tilted it on its side like this because I took the fuel line off and I didn't want to have to drain the gas tank. So that's why I've got it like that. We're going to see if it runs without the air filter on it, because we definitely need to put an air filter on it because that one's oil soaked. I have one here I just need to get. And hopefully everything's good with this thing after this. All right, guys, let's see if we have success here. Let me grab a clip real quick. Uh-oh. Come on now. Uh-oh. Does it need a kick here? I can already tell y'all. Let's see. Running okay now. Opened up some. Alright, let's shut it off and see what happens. Does it close all the way back up? No, okay, so everything's working. Just needed a kick in the pants or something, I guess, to get going there. I'll find an air filter for it, change the oil, sharpen the blade, give it a quick wash, and maybe we'll be done with it. Well, I got it cleaned up and put a new air filter in it. It's been a couple of days now. Let's see if it'll start up for us here on its own for honestly the first time, cold starting wise. So that's excellent. That's after a wash too. So it ended up coming up pretty nicely. Again, fairly easy to do on these. Nothing crazy. Just that carb clean. I hope that that involved carb clean that I showed helps y'all out in terms of getting these things back running. They can be a little tricky, especially if you forget that top jet. And yeah, so a little bit more involved getting them off too than like a Briggs carb, but nothing crazy. By no means not the hardest carburetor to do. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Again, I'm pretty much going to sell this for what I have in the lot that I bought it for, which was the push mower and riding mower that needs a transmission. So I'm pretty much got a free riding mower out of it. Still got a couple of bucks in the pocket, so that's good. And if you have any questions about it, this video or any video you see on the channel, feel free to reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook. And I also want to tease that this is the second repair I've done in the garage since I've overhauled it, and that video will be coming at the end of the year, an end of the year special for 2022. I will catch y'all either on that end of year special or on the next video that you see on the channel. Take care.